Today, I am thankful that we have people in our lives that can encourage us and give us wisdom when we need it. The people that we can go to when we don't know what to do. I know that God is ultimately the one that we're supposed to rely on and trust, and that's the direction we head. But He also gives us people. You could even call them at 2 a.m. Well, try not to call them at 2 a.m. But if you had to, you know the people in your life that are available to help you at any time. If you don't have somebody like that, ask God for somebody like that, because God hears you. He knows what you need. I've just had the privilege of being around a lot of different people in the last 5 months, all across the country, people that I've met in different churches, in different places that I've stayed. And I love learning and watching people. Are you guys the people watchers? Like the people at the mall and you sit on the bench and you just watch people all day? I'm one of them. God said in Proverbs 27:17, He says, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens his friend, in the countenance of his friend. You get to be around people that will help you, and you help them. If they're in a weak area and they're lacking something, maybe you're strong in that. Encourage them, pray with them, and believe God with them. We have people in our lives to help. If there is somebody that just bothers you, they could be living in your own house right now. They're like sandpaper on you. You're just like, I just want to be away from them. I just want to hide in this closet. That's not why I'm here, by the way. I just, this will work. Hanging out in the closet doing a video. Okay, so these people that sharpen you and challenge you, and some of them may push your buttons. This is the challenge to us. Are we going to gain what we can from them and appreciate the value that they have in areas that you are weak in? What do you see in them that you appreciate is what I'm trying to say. What do you see in them that is of great value that you can focus your attention on? Because if it's all negative, if every time you see them, you're just like, there's that person, and I just want to be away from them. What do you like about them? Well, you know what, Nancy? There's nothing I like about them. But there's got to be something. One thing. Find one thing that you can appreciate. We can also fall in the other ditch where we play the comparison game. In 2 Corinthians 10, verse 12, if you can look that one up, it talks about comparison. And God says when we compare ourselves and measure ourselves with other people, He says we're unwise and we're without understanding. When you look at people and compare yourself with them, you either get deflated, discouraged because you're not where they're at. And then the other side of that is, you look at somebody the same way, but you're like, oh man, I'm doing pretty good. And then you get a little bit prideful. We don't want to play the comparison game of looking across to people. We look to Jesus and then just appreciate the people that you're around, the wisdom that they have to share. Take what you can learn from them. And I'm not talking about like in a selfish sense. Learn from them and soak what you can in the way that God has gifted them. Maybe they're better at something than you are. That's great that they're really good at that. Just be happy with how God made you to be. I remember the first couple months I lived with my cousin. We had an apartment together. When we moved in together, she was so good at communicating with people, getting a job done. She just had really great qualities. And I started looking at her, and then a couple months in, I was like, oh man, I'm not like that. Why am I not like that? I need to be like that. I need to be more assertive. I need to be this. I need to do it this way, because the qualities that she had, I admired so much. That should have been where it stayed. You admire and appreciate how God has blessed somebody to be, but it doesn't make you less of a person just because you're not gifted in that area. You have to appreciate and be satisfied with how God made you. And I know that's a big deal these days. A lot of people are very unhappy with the way that they are. There's a lot of self-harm. There's a lot of self-destruction in people not wanting to be themselves. But God made you just the way you are on purpose. So we don't want to compare. Get your eyes off the bad things, and instead of being at each other, just go back to back and fight the enemy off in those areas and say, no, I'm not going to look at somebody like that. I'm going to take that sandpaper person and I'm going to just find things in them that I can learn from. So take a minute today on your way home from work and maybe tell them, call them up, text them. Very simple. Nothing huge, but it makes a difference. It really does. Even though they put the toilet paper the wrong way, they're still awesome. Okay.